Hello students, a very fresh and beautiful morning to all. I hope you all are in good health and taking great care of yourself. Welcome back to our English class. As you know students that we have completed our Beehive textbook course and today we would be moving ahead with our supplementary reader, that is Moments, and we would be starting the chapter A House is Not a Home. So here students, this is a story that author writes about himself while he was a teenager, when he was growing up, and what all problems that he had and how did he overcome those problems. This story is all about that. A house is not a home. Now if you see the title A House and Home, you might feel that both are same. But well, that they are not same. There is little bit of difference between both of them. You can say a house is normally made up of bricks and cement, right? That means a house can be considered as a building which has four walls and a roof on it. But if you are talking about home, it's a place where family lives together, right? They share all kinds of emotions. They share their happiness, sadness, excitement, surprises, and there is a lot of affection and love between them. So that is called a home. There might be a place as used as a bungalow, but if there is no affection between a family over there, then that cannot be considered as a home. But a person who is living on street along with his family, but they are happy when they are staying together, then that can be considered as a home. So that's the difference between a house and home. And by the end of this story, or by the end of the situation or problem which the author is facing, right? By the end of that, he comes to know, or he understands what is the difference between a house and a home. Because being a teenager, quite many problems came into his life. The first one was changing of his school. He was in junior high school and then he shifted to another school for upper grades, and there he didn't have any friends. He almost lost all his closest friends because they all went in other schools, different schools, and that's why he was isolated over there. Then the second thing which happened was a fire erupted in his house and his house was burnt where he was staying before, and then he had to stay in an apartment. And also he had one cat which was, you can say, quite close to him, but he felt that he has lost that cat in that fire. And he was also about to lose his mom because she ran in the fire to get some stuff from the house. So he felt like he has to give up because there are so many problems in his life. He felt like he wants to die for that. But afterwards, after some time, some things happen in his life which changes his perspective or his viewpoint, you can say. उसका जो नज़रिया था वो बदल गया, and then he started to understand that a house is not only the four walls and the roof, but it's a place where you are surrounded by good people. People take care of you, people love you, right? That is called home. So we would see the whole story from the beginning by reading paragraph wise. So let's see that. My first year of high school felt awkward. After leaving junior high at the head of my class with all the seniority the upper grade levels could afford me, it felt strange starting over as a freshman. Well, in Western countries, the schools are divided into 3-4 categories, and the first category is considered to be the junior school, where the classes are, or you can say the grades are up to 6th or 7th standard. After that they have the high school. Okay, so over here the author was feeling quite awkward. Awkward means he was feeling quite strange and weird when he entered his first year of high school, because 1 to 6th में मान लो अगर 1 to 6th जूनियर स्कूल है और 7th onwards हाई स्कूल है 7 to 12, then over there 6th in the junior school 6th is the highest grade, right? तो वो जब 6th में था, at that time he was like the head of the class and he had all the seniority of the upper grade level. That means whatever was to be done had to be done by the upper grade, that means the higher class. मतलब उसमें जो हायर क्लास था वो 6 स्टैंडर्ड था, तो वहाँ पर उसने काफ़ी सारी सीनियोरिटी देखी हुई थी. सीनियोरिटी मीन्स स्टेट ऑफ बीइंग ओल्डर, राइट? और या फिर आपकी जो पोजीशन होती है वो काफ़ी ऊपर होती है. सो yes, you get the advantage over there, right? Being elder, you can, and he had all the advantages of being in the higher class, and that's the reason when he entered into the high school, that was the first year for him. That means he was now again on the junior level, क्योंकि उसके ऊपर काफ़ी सारे क्लासेस थे. मान लो 12th तक है तो 12th वाले जो है वो सबसे सीनियर गिने जाएंगे. तो अभी वो 7th में आया है तो वो अभी जूनियर बन गया है. So that is where he felt awkward, because suddenly from being the most senior one in the junior school, now he has fallen down again to the junior level in the high school. So that was one reason he was feeling quite awkward, because it felt strange starting over as a freshman. Freshman means you can say that he was new to the school, and ऑब्वियसली अगर फर्स्ट ईयर है तो उसके लिए वो जगह भी नई ही होगी, राइट? सो दैट वुड बी दैट वाज अ न्यू प्लेस एंड ही वाज इन द फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ दैट स्कूल. दैट्स व्हाई ही वाज फीलिंग क्वाइट स्ट्रेंज. The school was twice as big as my old school, and to make matters worse, my closest friends were sent to different high school and I felt very isolated. So जो दूसरी स्कूल थी that was quite big. It was twice as big as my old school. And to make matters worse, that means पहले ही मुझे वो स्कूल में enter होना it was feeling awkward to me. And another thing which made that thing worse was उसके जितने भी सारे friends थे, closest friends थे, they all went to different high school. So he didn't have any friends over there in the new school, right? So that was again another problem. एक तो पहला था ही कि स्कूल बदल गई है, एंड सेकेंड वन वॉज ही डिडंट हैव फ्रेंड्स ओवर देयर, एंड दैट्स द रीजन ही वॉज फीलिंग वेरी आइसोलेटेड. आइसोलेटेड मीन्स ही वॉज फीलिंग वेरी लोनली. I missed my old teachers so much that I would go back and visit them. They would encourage me to get involved in school activities so that I could meet new people. They told me that in time I would adjust and probably end up loving my new school more than I had my old one. They made me promise that when that happened, I would still come by and visit them from time to time. I understood the psychology in what they were saying, but I took some comfort in it nonetheless. So I missed my old school. Yes, he was feeling so strange in the high school कि उसको अपनी पुरानी school बहुत याद आ रही थी, and also the teachers over there. So he missed his old teachers and he also missed his old school, and that was the reason what he used to do. He used to go back and visit them. मतलब वहाँ जाके उनको मिल के आता था. And when he went over there, the teachers over there would encourage him that you need to get involved in the school activities. Get into some activities जो school में हो रही है. Go and meet the new students. आपके साथ जो classmates है, go and meet the new people. And once you get acquainted to those things, then it would be easier for you to adjust over there, and probably it could be the result कि आप उस चीज़ को पसंद करने लगो more than the old one, right? So that is how it works. अगर आप एक जगह से दूसरी जगह shift हो रहे हो, so the change won't be easy for anyone. Whoever makes that change of changing a house or changing a state or changing a country, whatever it is, लेकिन वो चेंज हमेशा डिफ़िकल्ट रहता है. बट इफ़ यू वॉन्ट टू कीप ऑन गोइंग इन द लाइफ, then you should probably meet different person and try to socialize with them. Then only you won't feel alone. Okay, so और टीचर्स ने उन्होंने यहाँ तक कहा कि यू मे प्रोबेबली एंड अप लविंग द स्कूल, दैट मीन्स यू माइट सर्टनली लव योर स्कूल, और ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि शायद तुम हमें भूल जाओ आफ्टर यू आर फॉन्ड ऑफ योर न्यू स्कूल, इट माइट बी पॉसिबल कि तुम हमको भूल जाओ. इसीलिए उन्होंने उसको प्रॉमिस भी दिलवाई कि when that happened, that means when you start loving your new school, he would still come and visit them time to time. So it was just an encouragement kind of thing, and you can say the psychology of the teachers was to comfort the student over there कि everything would work out, you don't need to worry about that, just give some time. So ऑथर को ये चीज़ समझ में आ रही थी कि जो टीचर्स है वो उसको क्या समझाने का ट्राई कर रही है, राइट, कि ओके एवरीथिंग विल फॉल इनटू प्लेस, एवरीथिंग वुड बी गुड, राइट, एवरीथिंग विल वर्क आउट. बट उस चीज़ की बावजूद, राइट, उसको मालूम था कि टीचर्स की साइकोलॉजी क्या है, उनका ये बिहेवियर क्यों है, वो जानता था. उसके बावजूद उसने उसमें कंफर्ट थोड़ा ढूंढ लिया. ही वॉज लिटिल बिट होपफुल नाउ आफ्टर मीटिंग देम. ही वॉज लिटिल बिट होपफुल कि हाँ भाई शायद आगे जाके सारी चीज़ें काम करने लगेगी. मतलब आई वुड ऑल्सो स्टार्ट लविंग माई स्कूल and I would also make friends. So that was something which he got comfort from when the teacher was trying to console him. Okay. So they made me promise that when that happened, I would still come by and visit them from time to time. I understood the psychology in what they were saying, but I took some comfort in it nonetheless. So in spite of knowing कि उनका जो behavior था वो क्यों था ऐसा, in spite of knowing that, author found some comfort in those talks. Okay. Now one Sunday afternoon, not long after I had started high school, I was sitting at home at my dining room table doing homework. It was cold and windy fall day, and we had a fire going in our fireplace. So one Sunday afternoon, it so happened he was sitting by the fireplace in his house. और हाई स्कूल को स्टार्ट हुए कुछ ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं हुआ था. इट वॉज नॉट लॉन्ग टाइम आफ्टर ही स्टार्टेड द न्यू स्कूल. बट एट दैट डे ही वॉज सिटिंग एट होम एट हिज डाइनिंग टेबल. अपने डाइनिंग रूम का जो टेबल है वहाँ पर वो बैठा हुआ था. एंड ही वॉज डूइंग हिज वर्क, ही वॉज डूइंग हिज होमवर्क. इट वॉज क्वाइट विंडी एंड कोल्ड डे. मतलब फॉल चल रहा था. फॉल मीन्स ऑटम ओवर ईयर. ओके, द सीजन इन विच नॉर्मली the tree shed their leaves, that is called fall or autumn. Okay, जो winter से पहले आता है. Okay, that season is called fall. And it was such kind of day. काफ़ी ठंडी थी बाहर, and we had fire going in our fireplace. So उनके घर में रहता ही है. outside countries जो है, western countries, they are so cold that they do have a fireplace in their house, जहाँ पे वो लोग फायर जलाते हैं ताकि घर में जो है वो रूम वार्म और कोजी हो जाए. इसलिए as usual my red tabby cat was lying on the top of all my papers, purring loudly and occasionally sweating at my pen for entertainment's sake. So as usual, that means everything was going on as usual. जैसे मतलब हर संडे आफ्टरनून जाता होगा या फिर हर दिन जैसे जाता होगा. इट वॉज सेम, देयर वॉज नथिंग डिफरेंस ओवर हियर. एज यूजुअल उसकी जो एक कैट है, राइट, इट्स अ पेट कैट, रेड टैबी कैट. इट वॉज लाइंग ऑन द टॉप ऑफ ऑल हिज पेपर्स एंड इट वॉज परिंग लाउडली. दैट मीन्स इट वॉज मेकिंग सम साउंड. जो साउंड कैट करता है दैट इज purring, that is called purring. So it was purring loudly and occasionally sweating at my pen. Sweating means to hit something. That means he might be trying to hit the pen which the author was using to write it, right, for entertainment, for just playing sake, that the cat was doing all those things. And he also describes about the cat that she was never far from me. I had rescued her when she was a kitten, and somehow she knew that I was the one responsible for giving her the good life. So ये जो cat थी, that was quite close to the author, and the author had rescued her. That means the author saved her when she was a kitten. मतलब वो जब छोटी सी kitten थी, at that moment the author helped her out and he took him home. And somewhere the cat also knew about that कि यही है जिसने मुझे अच्छी life दी है. So the cat also felt somewhere that the author is responsible for giving her a good life. My mother kept stoking the fire to keep the house nice and warm. Suddenly I smelled something strange. Then I noticed it. Smoke pouring in through the seams of ceiling. The smoke began to fill the room so quickly that we could barely see. And as it was chill and windy outside, my mother kept stoking. Stoking means to keep on adding the coal so that the fire keeps on going, right? वो फायर को जला के रखने के लिए she kept on adding some coal to it so that the house remains nice and warm. And suddenly I smelled something strange. ये author जो था उन्होंने suddenly कुछ smell किया. It was quite strange, it was quite weird. And then I noticed, so when he noticed what was going on around, he saw that the smoke was pouring in through the seams of the ceiling. Seams of the ceiling means जहाँ पे आपकी वॉल और सीलिंग जो होती है जहाँ पे मीट करती है, राइट, दैट कैन बी कंसिडर्ड एज सीम. सो जो स्मोक है वो पूरे घर में फैल गया है अप टू द सीम्स ऑफ द सीलिंग, एंड इतना ज़्यादा फिल हो गया था एंड इट वॉज सो क्विक that they were not able to see. Barely see means they were not able to see properly around. मतलब स्मोक इतना ज़्यादा फिल हो गया था कि कुछ दिख नहीं रहा था उनको. Groping our way to the front door, we all ran out into the front yard. By the time we made our way outside, the whole roof was engulfed in flame and it was spreading quickly. I ran to the neighbors to call the fire department while I watched my mother run back into the house. Groping our way to the front door. Groping means trying to find out something in dark. Right? जब अंधेरा होता है तब हम किसी चीज़ को ढूंढने के लिए, मान लो if the power goes off suddenly during night time, right? So we are not aware about it and then we try to find out something and we are doing that just by our sense कि हाँ भाई ये चीज़ यहाँ पे होगी. So that is how they went towards the front door and they ran out into the front yard. By the time we made our way outside, मतलब हम लोग जब तक बाहर निकले घर से, the whole roof was engulfed in flame. The whole roof was surrounded in flames. The flames had been going higher and higher and it was spreading quickly. And जो ऑथर थे वो अपने नेबर्स के पास गए. आई रैन टू द नेबर्स to call the fire department because their phones and everything was left inside, right? Because they just ran outside as soon as they saw the smoke. So जो author थे, he ran to his neighbor's house to call the fire department while I watched my mother run back into the house. और उसकी जो मम्मी थी, she again went into the house. She might have gone inside to get something, right? My mother then ran out to the house carrying a small metal box full of important documents. She dropped the case on the lawn and in the crazed state ran back into the house. I knew what she was after. My father had died when I was young and I was certain that she was not going to let his pictures and letters go up in the flames. They were the only things that she had to remember him by. Still, I screamed at her, "Mom, no." So, when he was going to call the fire department, at that moment her mother ran inside the house and she came out of the house along with a small metal box जिसके अंदर सारे important documents रखे हुए थे. It was full of important documents. She dropped that case down in the lawn. उनका जो lawn था, राइट, लॉन मीन्स गार्डन काइंड ऑफ थिंग जहाँ पे काफ़ी सारे और खुला ग्रास भी होता है एंड अलॉन्ग विद द ग्रासेस देर आर सम श्रब्स ऑल्सो. सो उनका जो लॉन था वहाँ पे उसने वो केस रख दिया. शी kept that thing over there and she again ran inside the house in the crazed state. Crazed means in an insane manner. Sorry, insane means in a mad way, right? She again ran into the house. Now, as जैसे कि ऑथर ने पहले बताया कि when they were coming out of the house for the first time, at that moment only the fire was rising higher and higher, right? That means वो पूरा घर जलने की वर्ज पर आ गया था. But still उसकी मम्मी एक बार तो गई अंदर to get the documents. Then she again ran into the house. In that in the house which was almost burnt down, she went inside again. And ऑथर न्यू कि वाई डिड शी गो इनसाइड. उसको मालूम था कि उसकी मम्मी अंदर क्यों गई थी, क्योंकि उनके जो फादर थे ऑथर के, द फादर हैड डाइड व्हेन आई वाज यंग. दैट मीन्स व्हेन the author was small, at that time only his father passed away. And the only remembrance or only memories which her mother had was the pictures and the letters that he might have returned to his mother. So she didn't want to let it go into the flames. She didn't want those letters and those pictures to be burnt down, and that's the reason she went inside to collect those things. And although the author knew कि वो क्यों गई है अंदर, उसकी बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ थी वो, बिकॉज मेमोरीज आर द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इन लाइफ, राइट? बिकॉज इफ अ पर्सन लीव्स यू, इफ अ पर्सन गोज अवे from your life, you are just left with the memories of that person. So those are very important for the person who has lost that loved one. Okay, जिसका मतलब बहुत करीबी चला जाता है, उसके लिए उसकी memories बहुत important होती है. And that's where she went inside. And the author came to know about, he already knew about it, but still he screamed because जो ऑथर है ही हैज़ ऑलरेडी लॉस्ट हिज फादर, राइट? उसने अपने फादर को तो खो ही दिया है. अगर उसकी मम्मी अंदर गई है, मान लो उसको कुछ हो जाता है, what will happen of author? He might be orphaned, right? उसके दोनों ही पेरेंट्स चले जाएंगे. So he kept on screaming that mom, please don't go inside. I was about to run after her when I felt a large hand hold me back, and it was a fireman. And when he was about to run inside along with her mom, at that moment suddenly one person came, and that was a fireman. He held him back, मतलब उसको उसने पकड़ लिया. I hadn't even noticed that the street had already filled with the fire trucks. और वो अपनी मॉम को देखने में और उसको बचाने के चक्कर में उसने ये भी नोटिस नहीं किया कि the fire trucks has already arrived and now they would be putting off that fire which was blazing high in the sky. So he didn't notice that the street had already filled with the trucks, and I was trying to free myself from his grasp, yelling, "You don't understand, my mom is in there." So he was trying to free himself, मतलब उसको पकड़ के रखा हुआ था, राइट? वो फायरमैन ने, and he wasn't that young. So उसको मतलब एक बड़े आदमी ने पकड़ा हुआ था, तो उसकी ग्रिप से निकलना उसके लिए काफ़ी मुश्किल था. And he kept on yelling, he kept on shouting that you don't understand that my mom is inside the house. I need to go and save her. So he held on to me while other firefighters ran into the house. He knew that I wasn't acting very logically and that if he were to let go, I would run, and he was right. That means he kept on holding him. He didn't leave his grasp because he knew, जो fireman था उसको मालूम था कि अगर वो उसको जाने देगा, if he let him go, then he won't act logically. Obviously, see, now the firefighters are already there, and it would be easier for them to save one life instead of saving two lives. राइट अगर ऑथर भी अंदर चला जाता है तो फायर फाइटर को दो लोगों की जान बचानी पड़ेगी. और ऑब्वियसली अभी जो ऑथर है ही इज़ नॉट इन दैट स्टेट ऑफ माइंड दैट ही कैन जस्ट टेक perfect decision, or you can say the decision which is right for him. So that's the reason he didn't allow him to go inside. और बाकी जो firefighters थे उनके साथ, they went inside to save her mom. Sorry. It is all right. They will get her, he said. So जो firefighter ने उसको पकड़ा हुआ था, he said that don't worry, the other firefighters have gone inside and they would get her outside and she would be all right. He wrapped a blanket around me and sat me down in our car. Soon after that, a fireman emerged from our house with my mom in tow. He quickly took her over to the truck and put an oxygen mask on her, and I ran over and hugged her. All those times I ever argued with her and hated her vanished at the thought of losing her. So, he wrapped a blanket. That means the fireman wrapped a blanket around me because, as you know, that it was quite cold and windy day, and that's why he was just being wrapped around with the blanket, because they just ran outside their house, and when they were inside the house they won't be wearing a big they won't be wearing anything cozy, right? मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा ठंडी तो होगी नहीं रूम के अंदर, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी फायर तो जल ही रही थी. सो इट वॉजेंट दैट कोल्ड इन द हाउस, लेकिन बाहर बहुत ज़्यादा ठंडी थी, इसीलिए जो फायरमैन था उसने ब्लैंकेट रैप किया एंड ही मेड हिम सेट इन हिज कार. And after some time, a fireman came out from the house. He emerged. That means he came out from the house, and along with him was his mom in tow. In tow means she was holding him. She might be unconscious. उसकी मॉम जो थी वो अनकॉन्शियस हो गई होगी अंदर, बिकॉज शी माइट हैव इनहेल्ड सम स्मोक, राइट, एंड दैट्स वाई शी माइट बी अनकॉन्शियस. तो वो उसको लेकर आए एंड दे क्विकली टुक हर ओवर द ट्रक एंड पुट एन ऑक्सीजन मास्क ऑन हर. सो उनका जो फायर ट्रक होता है वहाँ पे फर्स्ट एड किट वगैरह सब रहता है. सो द फायरमैन टुक हिम ओवर देयर एंड ही पुट द मास्क ऑन हर, मतलब ऑक्सीजन मास्क जो होता है वो डाल दिया, बिकॉज शी इनहेल्ड द स्मोक एंड दैट्स वाई उसका जो ऑक्सीजन लेवल था वो काफ़ी कम हो गया था, एंड दैट्स द रीज़न शी वॉज नॉट एबल टू ब्रीथ प्रॉपरली. एज सून एज दे ब्रॉट आउट हर मॉम, द ऑथर रैन ओवर एंड हग्ड हर. All those times I ever argued, and at that moment जब उसने अपनी मम्मी को मतलब हक किया, at that time उसके अगेंस्ट जो भी था उसके दिल में, राइट, वॉट एवर इट वॉज. नाउ बींग अ टीनेजर यू ऑल्सो नो कि पेरेंट्स के साथ किसी ना किसी चीज़ पे आर्ग्यूमेंट हो जाती है, राइट. यू फील दैट यू आर राइट एंड योर पेरेंट्स आर अगेंस्ट योर गुड, बट दैट्स नॉट द थिंग. अब पेरेंट्स अगर आपको किसी चीज़ के लिए मना करते हैं या डांटते हैं, दैट इज़ ओनली फॉर योर गुड, और you can say that they only think good about you, right? They don't want anything bad to happen to you, and that's why they scold you sometimes, or you might have an argument with them, but that doesn't mean that they don't love you. And the same goes with you also. When you argue with your parents, we know कि आप अपने पेरेंट्स को प्यार करते हो, लेकिन हाँ वो कभी कभी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हो जाती है, पेरेंट्स ही है, राइट. सो उसके दिल में जो भी हेटरेट थी उसकी मम्मी के लिए, मतलब जो भी लड़ाई होती थी या जो भी किसी चीज़ के लिए अगर मम्मी नहीं मानी तो गुस्सा आ रहा है उसके ऊपर, एवरीथिंग वैनिश्ड. दैट मीन्स एवरीथिंग डिसअपियर्ड एट द थॉट कि ही माइट लूज हर, राइट. अगर वो बच नहीं पाती अंदर तो वो उसको खो देता. सो उस थॉट ने सारी चीज़ें वैनिश करती, जो भी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हुए थे या जो भी हेट्रेड उसके दिल में था, एवरीथिंग जस्ट disappeared from his mind. And yes, he was little bit happy about that कि, or you can say he was just relieved कि उसकी मम्मी ठीक है. That was the only good thing which happened to him at that moment. So students, I hope that you are clear till here. We would be continuing with the remaining portion in the next video.